All right, hello everyone. Can you hear me? All right, let's get this going. Okay, just trying to set up my windows here. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. All right, if you can hear me, please let me know. It's going to be a little bit laggy. There should be some music. You should be able to hear my voice fairly okay. Awesome. That's excellent. Hopefully, so basically, I should start by saying this is a test stream, another test stream. I've done so many test streams on YouTube because I've had a lot of technical difficulties. But I'm hoping we're going to be good to go this time. But this is another test one, so I'm gearing up for a stream that I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to be launching my fantasy drawing prompts. And yeah, we're going to do some of them live, so I'm really excited to do that. But I figured I should jump in today and just to test everything to make sure everything works good. So yeah, I'm super excited you guys are here with me. How many people do we have in here? Probably not many, but I'm not really announcing this anywhere. I did see it before. Where is it? Okay, we have, 12 people in here. That's okay. All right. Well, I hope you're all doing well in your quarantine situation. I'm sure we're all going a little bit stir crazy. But we have to keep ourselves occupied somehow. So, first of all, I could probably give you a sneak peek at the artwork I'm going to be doing for my prompt list. Most of you probably don't know about it, but I've mentioned it on my Patreon page. So my prompt list is about 30 different drawing ideas based on fantasy, and you can draw them any way you want. It's just an idea to get you started. But for me, what I thought I would want to do with it is make a big illustration with a whole bunch of characters all in one thing. So this is a very rough. Just a general kind of layout of where I want the characters to be. And yeah, so it's kind of like a great feast with a whole bunch of different fantasy characters. So it should be really fun. It's going to be quite comedic and comical. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. I'm probably going to post about it tomorrow, and then we'll do a live stream. And we're going to start with this character down here. But more about him tomorrow. But if you have any questions, let me know in the chat and I'll try and answer them. But for this stream, since it's just a test, I'm just going to work on one of my comic book pages and see if I can kind of progress on it, because I haven't touched it in probably over a week. So I really need to do some work on it. So yeah, we're just going to chill, we're just going to work, and I might zone out a little bit. But chuck your questions in if you have them, and I'll do my best to answer. Okay, let's bring this one up. And I might change the music too while I'm at it. Let's put this on. Actually, no. How long did it take me to find my style, Devon Adams? Thank you for your question. Probably a long time, I'd say. Yeah, a long time. I'm trying to think about how I can answer that question. I've been drawing for 17 years professionally, so yeah, it's been an evolution throughout that 17 years. But I would say if you're just starting out and you're consistently drawing and gathering influences, I'd say between 1 and 3 years of just consistently drawing, I think you'll start to develop into your own style. It's something that happens over time. Also, I apologise that this artwork is probably not the most interesting for you to be watching me draw, but like I said, we'll be doing another stream tomorrow where we're going to draw some characters together, so it should be really fun. But this is page 1 of my new comic, and I'm tackling backgrounds, which is really difficult. Yeah, it's a challenge, but there's a lot of background scenery in this short story I'm doing, so I'm going to have to get used to it. I've got some more questions. C.R. Fowler asks, I have a question. The awesome sketchbook tour you posted a while back was a Moleskine sketchbook. Does the watercolour bleed through it all? What about Copics and alcohol markers? That's actually a very good question, because yeah, the Copics and alcohol markers will definitely bleed through, and that's one of the problems with them. Hey Anna, welcome in. Yeah, they bleed through. It's not good. So definitely don't buy a Moleskine. And yes, people have complained about how I say Moleskine. Some people say Moleskine sketchbook. I don't care. I say Moleskine. Just deal with it. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I started using that little Koi watercolor set in the Moleskine sketchbook, is because it does not bleed through to the other page. Yeah, like I've mentioned before, just don't put too much water on it, because it is not really designed for watercolors. But if you're just doing it lightly, it warps a little bit, but it kind of flattens out and it's not too bad. But what I want to do with this page, this first page for my comic, so it's a 2-panel scene. It's a little bit tricky to work out at the moment because I've still got to kind of get some words in there, and the credits, intro credits up here somewhere. But yeah, I need to get this background finished so we can move on. But it is a little bit tricky. I'm not using any reference right now, so I'm just going to wing it. I feel like this is kind of sort of useless information over here anyway. Although it's best to use reference. I'm really going to have to get into the reference for these kind of things. C.R. Fowler asks, what are some of my biggest influences? Artists, movies, comics, etc. Oops. Biggest influences at the moment are... Jeepers. It's hard to say. I don't have anything specific, any specific artists that are standing out to me at the moment, but Mobius is one. I've just started getting to him. Just bought one of his books to read through, but he's pretty interesting. I follow a bunch of artists on Instagram, so I would recommend going on there and having a look at who I'm following, because that's pretty much where I get my artistic influences at the moment. So there's an artist called Valentine Pash. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly, but she's pretty awesome. She's from, oh my gosh, she's from Europe. I can't remember what country she's from, but she does European comics. So yeah, a lot of the European comic book style I'm really into lately. But when I was younger, I grew up with American comic books in the late 90s. So you could probably tell that most of my female characters have a sort of J. Scott Campbell kind of vibe to them. And that would be because I was pretty obsessed with J. Scott Campbell back then. Backgrounds with no reference is not ideal at all, but we're just going to wing it for a little bit. Turn that off. Questions. Let's have a look here. Let's pop this guy up on the screen. Oh yeah, I didn't really answer your question fully, did I? I definitely love fantasy, so Lord of the Rings, The Dark Crystal is amazing. The new series is epic. I love it. Gosh, The Wheel of Time. I've been reading the Wheel of Time novels for a couple of years. I haven't got very far through them, but in terms of like fantasy content, I love them. Gosh, what else? I don't know. Arthur Spiderwick, the movie Arthur Spiderwick brought me onto oh my god, Tony DiTerlizzi's artwork, and he's a really cool fantasy artist. Really love his work. Yeah, so definitely video games, World of Warcraft. Definitely like the whole Blizzard kind of art style is something I really, really like. So I kind of like gather bits of artistic inspiration from all different kinds of things. Alright, let's see if I've missed some more questions. Okay, Grey Dawn's leaving. Well, thank you for joining and get some rest. I'm sure you can jump in tomorrow. And don't forget, this is just a test stream anyway, so we're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do some proper work. Am I planning on doing any tutorials? Asks Adam Calloway. I will be doing something very soon. It's going to be a very casual kind of how-to sort of video. It's going to go for about an hour long. I can't really give you too much more information yet because it's still being worked out, but it is going to be on a certain platform that you may know. That's all I can say at the moment. But yes, there will be things. And of course, on my Patreon, I am going to be doing some videos on how I use certain mediums such as Procreate and watercolors and markers and stuff like that. I've really set myself up for a challenge here by doing this without reference live to you guys. And you can see me fail. That's alright. Just not quite sure I like what I've done. Yeah, I'm pretty damn rusty with my architecture and all this. And I've put off this story mainly for that reason, but I figure, it's only gonna get better as long as I just do it and get it done. Somebody asks, where is my brother? I don't have a brother, so I can't tell you where he is. He doesn't exist. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. I don't think these buildings down here need like a whole bunch of detail because we've already got way too much going on here in these buildings. And this building here in the middle, which this one is the main building we're concentrating on anyway because that's where the characters are going to be in the story. So I just need kind of like a good solid basic building. You know what? I've done this all wrong. I've done it all wrong. Because there needs to be... Oops. There needs to be a beam in here. Right, let's get this beam in here. And then like that. But yeah, that's the other thing about this story is it's set in a big medieval city and town, and I haven't fully designed the whole thing, which is giving me quite a lot of paranoia and anxiety because here I am starting the story and I haven't designed it. But I'm just going to make it up as I go along. And I don't think that's necessarily a terrible way of doing it, but as long as it stays consistent, I think it'll be fine. But I will jump out here and actually show you something else. Oh, Diogo, I get what you're saying now about my brother. You're making a joke. Okay, so I've started drawing the interior of his workshop, which I'm not really too happy with yet. Needs to be a lot more interesting things going on there. And I think I need to do another drawing with the view looking the other way, so we can kind of grasp what's going on better. So that's what I'm going to have to do with this whole story, because there's so much stuff that needs to be designed. It's really daunting. But hey, we'll do it. Why not? But yeah, welcome in everyone. YouTube has been going nuts lately with all the new subscribers and everything, and we even hit over 10,000 subscribers. Like, it's just insane. It's definitely because of the quarantine situation going on, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I do apologise if I have missed any questions. I'm not going to be able to get to them all, but I will try. Let's just get this building half drawn, and then I'll come back to some questions. let's have a look here. Okay, bear with me, I'm just going to scroll up and see if I missed any questions here. The storyteller. Let me see if I can find your question. Who would you recommend, or do you have tutorials? No, that's not it. Storyteller asks, I walked away from the hobby to pursue another career. I find myself knocking on 40, and my goal was then and is now your style of art. What path is realistic for me to follow to achieve it? Well, I'm pretty much self-taught, so I started drawing at a really, really young age, and sort of got more serious about it when I was about 15, 16. That's when I started buying comic books and just soaking up all the artistic inspiration. And then when I was about 18, I did 2 years of a diploma of illustration, and that certainly helped in a few areas, like what I could do with my artwork in the future, what kind of career paths I could take, and then they did like life drawing as well, which definitely helped. But that was only 2 years, and that was I think I graduated in 2002 or 2003. So realistically, after that, I was on my own, and I didn't do any further study. So it's really, there's nothing wrong with being self-taught, I don't think. Just soak up as much cool things as you can and just draw as much as you can. I know that's a pretty lame kind of answer, but that's kind of the best I can kind of give you without a more specific kind of question. Yeah. Tamara LaForest asks, hey Abel, love your work. I just bought your Wanderings book on your website and was wondering how long it would take to receive it with the COVID situation. That's a good question. I'm not aware of it going to be taking any longer than usual, but I guess it could. It might also depend what country you're in and what the situation is in your country. But for us, it usually takes us, roughly, it can take 2 to 2 weeks to actually get it packaged and shipped out of our premises, because we do get quite backlogged and get a lot of orders to get through. But I can contact you, we can talk outside of this stream, and we can make sure that you get your stuff as soon as possible. Oh gosh, this is really hard to kind of sift through and pick a question to answer. Maybe I need a moderator. That would be good. But anyway, for everyone else just joining us, this is just a test stream, so I'm just working on this comic book page, but realistically it's a test stream because tomorrow I'm going to jump on and we're going to draw some more fun stuff. Something probably a bit more interesting than this. Because this is really tricky, and I probably shouldn't be doing this live on stream. That line come from? I don't recall that being there. Did I draw that? and not realize? That's possible. Let's undo. Yes, I did. There it is. Don't know how I managed that. I think what I need to learn with drawing these cities and buildings and stuff is just don't start with any details, just try and get in the basic kind of shapes of the buildings. It's probably a good way to start. Yeah, that's my theory anyway. But I really should be using reference. And I'm kind of winging it with my perspective as well, which is not a good idea. So let's have a look here and see if I've got my drawing guide on. There it is. Let's change the color. Can we put it to blue? Where's that one? Select. So how many of you guys use Procreate for drawing on the iPad? Okay, I'm not too far off with my guesswork here. It's not too far off. Except for down here, that's pretty bad. Oh, thank you, Tamara. I appreciate that. I will adjust that right now. So yeah, definitely this is a test stream. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in terms of technical stuff. I'm going to put the music down a little bit here. See if that changes anything. But yeah, let's go in here and see if we can fix this a bit. Okay, I don't really need to draw that because he's going to be in front. Alright, let's see if we've got any more questions. Tamara says she uses Procreate, it's magical, and she's been drawing for a month now and it changed her life. It's so easy to use. Yeah, it really is. Oh, the music is louder than me. Okay, well, I tried to change it, Anna, so hopefully that fixed the problem, but I'm not sure it did. Let's see if I can change it this way. Pop it down a little bit. Yeah, when I started, I've been using Procreate for about 4 years now, and it was a little bit tricky at first to try and get used to it, but man, I don't draw digitally on anything else anymore, so I can't use Photoshop anymore. I've been using Photoshop to draw for so long, but now I can't go back to it because it's just so old. And Procreate is just so easy and natural. How do you get those grids on the canvas? It is in, if you go to your actions and you go to canvas, and then you go down to edit drawing guide, and there's a couple of different options. So you can have a 2D grid, you can have isometric, perspective, and symmetry. So at the moment we're on perspective, and then you just have to pick some points, and I can go into that another time, but I don't want to move these at the moment because we've got it set up for this scene. But yeah, just jump in there and have a look. And yes, exactly right, Tamara, you can have assisted drawing on a layer, which I'll show now. If I just make a new layer at the top here, and then I tap on the options and go to drawing assist, put that on, and now when I draw, it will snap to the guide. So everything is in line with the perspective that I've got set up right here, if you can see how that's working. So that's definitely very useful. The only reason why I'm not using that at the moment is because I find that it was destroying some of the character that I wanted to inject into the buildings. But you should I should and you should definitely use that to get the general perspective of the scene down. So I'm going to use that way more often going forward. But in terms of like adding character to the buildings, I kind of don't want them all to be perfect, especially old buildings like these. So I might even end up warping some of this stuff too. That's another really cool feature with Procreate. If I just turn these drawing guides off. Now I've got my buildings all on this layer here. Actually, let's just jump out and save this, because I don't want to lose what I've just done. So I'm just going to duplicate it. Alright, so that's copied. I really should export it, but anyway. Yeah, so let's go to this layer, layer 25, which is my refined buildings. And then if I hit adjustments and head down to liquify, and I'm on the push setting, what I can do is make things really weird. I actually kind of like that. So, I use this tool all the time, especially with my my characters, because it is a really good way of just fixing things without having to redraw it. It's a very quick and easy adjustment to do. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep drawing probably before I commit to this sort of thing, but I might do this before I start inking this page, just because I'm feeling that buildings are still lacking a little bit of character. I kind of want them to be a bit topsy-turvy, so I might edit it that way. Let's just go to adjust and then go to the strength, and you can go back to normal and you can adjust it visually like that. So yeah, Liquify is a really powerful tool, and I will come back and do that later on. Oh, my iPad is so laggy at the moment. All right, any other questions? Let's have a look. I'm not really seeing too many other questions. Eric says, what is the best way to improve the drawing style? That seems to be a very common themed question at the moment. Drawing style. Perhaps I'm going to have to make a specific video on that and my thoughts on that. But not to repeat myself too much, but style is something that comes after a lot of drawing and soaking in a lot of influences and just loving to draw. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. You know, like, it's easy to look at artists that you admire and say, and get frustrated that you can't draw like them at the moment. And I've been there. Drawing has been a real struggle for me, especially in my younger years. So it's, you know, you can really beat yourself up about not being where you want to be with your artistic style. But that's not really going to get you anywhere. So really, the only thing that's going to get you somewhere is by drawing and not being too hard on yourself. So yeah, I'll have to go back and think about a better answer and how to direct you guys to find your own style, because it seems to be a common question that keeps popping up. Can I show the brush really quick? I most certainly can. So I'm using the Able pencil, and now I'm just going to be plugging my own brushes, but anyway, since you asked, I'm using the Able Essentials brush set, which I released, about like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so it's got all these different brushes in there. Maybe we'll jump into something else and have a look at them. Let's see what we can find. Where is my sketches? Actually, let's put it back here. It's some old stuff. Just trying to pick something I can work on and show you. Okay, well, maybe we could work on, let's just work on this. What do we got here? That's weird. Let's just dull that down a bit, make a new layer. Okay, so we've got a couple of pencils. We've got the Able pencil, not a very unique name, but in the future, if I make more brushes, I'm going to try and make some actually interesting names, not just Able ink, Able pencil. You know, it's pretty boring. But yeah, I like this pencil. It's got a really cool texture to it. You can make it quite big and thick like that if you want to. It's got a tilt setting, so you can do some shading. Then there's another one which is currently bugged. Oh, is it? Let me have a look here. Maybe it's fixed. How did they fix it? Okay, it seems to be working now. That's interesting. It's called the Liquid Pencil. So it's different. It has a blending quality to it. As you can see, I'm kind of blending that in. And the rest are mostly ink brushes. So we've got Sloppy Ink here, which is one of my favorite brushes. And stop me if I'm boring you with this brush tutorial here. But yeah, this one, it comes with this like really cool little poppy out effect where it pops out these little splatters. And I worked quite hard to get that brush working. It's a dual brush, as you can see. Alright, do we have more questions while I work on this? Someone says I'm a good person. I appreciate that, thank you. Devon asks another question about if he just can't decide. Sounds like you can't decide which style to go for, like you've got a few different options. There's no reason why you can't just do all sorts of things, you know, there's no rules to what you should do. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people do a few different styles and that's okay. It's definitely okay. I mean, it does help if you have one style and you stick to it, because people, especially with gaining an online presence, if somebody can recognize your work and say, oh, that's so-and-so's work, you know, because they visually recognize it, that's definitely going to be to your advantage, rather than, you know, kind of being a jack of all trades, doing all different kind of styles. But it really just depends what you want to do with your art and with your career. Being a versatile artist, being able to do different styles is definitely a good skill to have if you want to be doing commission work, or working for a studio that might ask you to be working in a specific style. I've done jobs where I've had to match other people's styles as well. Yeah, this is probably a much more interesting thing to be doing than drawing buildings for you guys. Shameless Creative has said, I think a daily focus over a year helps one to find their style if you focus on what you love to draw and draw it a bunch daily. Keep an explorer's beginner's mind, you'll see what your style is. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Drawing every day, that's what I was saying before, is just, I mean, it seems so simple, but like the answer is just draw. Like, just keep doing it and doing it. So having a daily schedule, like Shamelessly Creative has suggested, is definitely a good idea. VV Backribs asks, what platform should I upload my art? I don't have art friends, nor am I a part of the art community. Is there a platform where I could find like-minded people? Well, I can only tell you what I'm doing personally. So Instagram, I think, Instagram has been a really, really good place for art for me. And it was pretty much my only real place I was sharing my artwork for a long time. Everybody seems pretty damn positive. There's been a couple of negative comments over the years, but you know, like, it's majority of everything on Instagram has been really positive towards art. So I would definitely recommend doing that, and just like following artists that you love. Also communicating with other artists as well. So don't just follow them, but even I've been trying to do that as well, is just get in touch with the artists that I follow that I really love. And if you start to build like little friendships, and it's just really, really, really sweet. And it's nice to have people that you have in common with, and get advice from and all that sort of stuff. So the other place I've been uploading my artwork is ArtStation. So artstation.com. I'm really new on there, which reminds me I need to upload some more work. But that seems like a pretty cool place. So I would definitely go and check that out. Don't be intimidated by the extreme, amazing level of skilled artists that are on there, because as soon as you go to artstation.com, it can be a little intimidating, even for me, because I'm like, whoa, this place, there's so many good artists here. I feel intimidated for some reason, but since joining that, I've gained lots of new followers, and people have been really kind, so I'm glad I did that. Oh, Facebook as well. Facebook is definitely another one that can be good. Facebook is a little bit iffy for me because just their whole restricting your users on seeing posts and that sort of thing is quite annoying, but that's a whole nother issue. So getting back to maybe talking about some brushes, because I did jump into this artwork to show you some stuff. So this was Able Sloppy ink, which I designed to be, as you guessed it, just really rough. I've kind of gone a bit tight in those inks, but some of my stuff with this has been really loose, which is fun. There's also a dry brush pen that I've designed, which has a really rough texture to it. Anyway, that's that. Oops. And my favorite brush, where is it? Rough ink is the one I'm using at the moment for my comics. I'm not sure you're really going to be able to tell, but for me, it reminds me of my traditional inking. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on screen or not, but it has a texture that reminds me of scanned line art. And that's something I was really missing whenever I go to digital work. It was just, I missed that raw texture from drawing on paper. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions while I get back to this drawing. Senpai says, have you ever tried Clip Studio Paint? I've tried it very briefly, so I kind of got intimidated and ran away. I'm pretty much all Procreate at the moment, so I don't really need to use anything else. At least I don't feel like I need to. Rocket asks, how long have I been drawing? I started drawing probably when I was about 3 years old. I started professionally when I was 18, and I'm now 36. Timid Art asks, what helps you out on days when you don't feel motivated to make art, or you just can't seem to make anything you like? That's a good, hard question to answer. Tricky. Also, another question that I probably should make an entire video about, because it's something that really actually affects me quite a lot. I think the challenge is when you get into a situation like that where you're just hating everything you're drawing, but I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 it's all in your mind, because, or at least that's what happens to me, is I feel like, oh, this drawing really sucks. I want to quit. And if you do drop that drawing and you come back, say, a day, 2 days later, a week later, whatever, you'll probably find that it's not as bad as you thought it was. It's a bad mindset to be in. So the way I do it these days, and it's taken me a long time to figure this out, is to literally challenge yourself, as if you have no option, to finish that drawing you're working on, and accepting that it's not going to be good, or at least accepting that you think it's not going to be any good. But the challenge is to finish it anyway, and hopefully you'll find that breaks you out of your bad mindset, because just completing something can make you feel really so much better. And it will give you the confidence to just work on something else. So that would be my challenge to you, is just try and draw something. It can be something really little, doesn't have to be something massive. Just try and draw something and finish it, and then move on to something else. Alright, what time is it? It's 2:30. Probably going to have to wrap this up in about 15 minutes, I think. So if you have any other questions, please chuck them to me. And I thank you guys for jumping on this stream. I know it's a bit random, and I'm kind of just working on whatever, but we'll be back tomorrow for a proper stream. And we're going to make some art. Not that I'm not making art now, but this just was not planned. Arvin Valenzuela, sorry if I didn't say that right. They ask, do I prefer digital over traditional drawing? And I will say yes. That doesn't answer your question. I think I prefer traditional, but they're just so different in a way, because I can change things in digital stuff. I can edit it. But I think in terms of my actual enjoyment, I think, there's nothing beats it for me than just sitting down and drawing in my sketchbook. I've tried to replicate the same sort of feeling with my Procreate brushes, specifically the rough ink brush and the ink wash brush, which actually wouldn't be a bad thing to show you really quickly. So what we're going to do here is pop on a new layer, chuck it on multiply, and I'm going to use the ink wash brush, which is in my Able Essentials set. I'm going to pick a sort of mid-tone grey colour and show you what this brush does, and then answer a couple of questions. So this brush is called Ink Wash, and I made it to replicate what you can guess is ink wash. So in my sketchbooks I use a paintbrush, a jar of water, and a pot of ink to lay down some ink tones, and I really wanted to have that in Procreate, so I spent a couple of months trying to make this brush, and look, I'm pretty happy with it because I've been using it for a while, and it does seem to give me the same kind of feeling. Let's make that a bit darker. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's got a texture that I've scanned from my actual books. So it is a paper. Actually, let me have a look. It could be not even paper, but it looks like paper. I think it might have been my studio wall outside. Anyway, it works for paper. So yeah, let's slap down some ink tones and you can see how this brush works. Actually, I might just put those pencils down a little bit. My iPad's frozen. Thank you, iPad. Yeah, it's a really fun brush to work with because of the way it blends. Like it's got water on it. All right, let's have a look if we've got more questions before I leave. Will this be saved? This may be saved, depending if I want it saved. It'll be saved for a little bit. I might delete it afterwards, so I'll leave it for a couple of days at least. Somebody, Orangey, missed the name of the brushes I'm using. Okay. They're called Able Essentials. And you can get them on my website, martinableart.com. They do cost $5 at the moment. What time's the stream tomorrow? I haven't fully decided. But as soon as I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. It might be a bit spontaneous, and I'm sorry if you miss it. I'm going to have to try and figure out what time to do it for all the different time zones, and I haven't fully figured it out yet. Okay, questions. Somebody asks, what motivates me to draw? I don't know. Really bad at answering questions. I love sharing my work. I think a part of me just likes the attention. Ever since I was a little kid, like a really little kid drawing, one of my motivations was just like, here, look what I drew. I don't think that's really changed too much. I'm sure there's other reasons why I like to draw. I'll have to think on it. Oh, Eleanor and Lens. Eleanor, hey! She uses Inkwash. That's cool. Thank you. Tips on shading traditionally. Well, it depends what medium you're using. I can't really give you too much tips without knowing specifically what you're using. I think that's might be about it for the questions. And if I've missed your question, I'm really sorry. But we will be back tomorrow, maybe about the same time. So maybe 3 o'clock. We'll see what we can do. I will let you guys know when I'm going to be live. And yeah, thanks so much for jumping in. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to leave it here now because this is just a test stream. So yes, come back tomorrow. We'll chat more. We'll do some cool stuff. What we're going to do, just a reminder so people know what we're doing tomorrow. We are going to be working on one of these. I'm going to be doing... actually, let me get the actual picture up. Well, that is the actual picture I'm going to be working on. But where is it? Where is it? Oh my gosh, I've lost it. No, it's here somewhere. There it is. Okay, cool. Right. Now I can talk about this. Yeah, so we're going to be doing weekly fantasy art prompts. I've come up with, well, I haven't come up with 30 options. I came up with a couple, but mostly people on Instagram and Facebook gave me some amazing, awesome suggestions. So there's a whole list that we're going to do. You can draw with me. We're going to do them on Thursdays and Sundays. Tomorrow we're going to start with our very first one. I will let you guys know. I'm going to be posting about it on Instagram and Facebook. So please keep an eye out there. And I won't be streaming every one because I think that's just a little bit hard to do. But I'm going to try and stream as many as I can because I think it would just be fun to hang out with you guys and give you something to watch if you're bored. But I think that's it. CR Fowler says the most common questions: what brushes you use, how you found your art style, how long you've been drawing. Might want to make some kind of blurb that can be easily referenced. Yes, I think that's a great idea, man. Thank you very much for that suggestion. And then we can just paste it in the chat. Especially if I'm going to do streams all the time. It might get a bit repetitive and we don't want that. All right, I think that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll come back, we'll do more of these, and hopefully they'll be better in the future. So that's it. Thank you. Bye.